Oftentimes, I look at dreams as God starting a conversation or continuing one. And when we talk about, hearing the voice of God, there's always this uncertainty because many people believe that maybe they don't dream that much or they have a lot of pizza dreams. And you have this question like, how do you know what's from God? How do you know what's a pizza dream? How do you know what's the enemy? And the truth is that you don't initially. And it's in the presence of God that you begin to decipher. One of my favorite scriptures is in Proverbs, and it says that it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, and it's the glory of kings to search it out. So there is something about our spiritual DNA that requires us to put information together, that God does not always give us this, clear, sharp, elaborate understanding through dreams. Because when we look at Jesus, Jesus would speak in parables sometimes. And then he would take his inner circle and because of their unique hunger, explain to them what the parable meant. But the people that heard the parable and were not following Jesus because they wanted that intimacy with him, it seemed that it was unfruitful. And that is where a lot of people find this place of like, what does that dream even mean? But I've learned that when you bring every single thing in the presence of God, that sometimes the most random, just like this must have been bad food dream has a message encoded in it. And what happens with that too, when we, just honoring that space, honoring that place of being yielded, is that when God sees that, I see you being very faithful, every night you put a journal by your bed. Every night you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is to tap into what did I dream about? One of the things that fights against us, because the funny thing is that many of us actually do dream, but we forget the dream. And we forget the dream because that dream was planted in a spiritual place. But when we wake up, the first thing we do in the morning, we go on social media, we go to the kitchen, we make coffee. So now the flesh is so activated that your spirit is asleep. And so that's why a lot of times for many people, when they're praying or worshiping, they're like, oh my gosh, I had a dream, But when we wake up, it's about honoring that space. Look at your, just what we said, about sleeping. It's a yielded space. Look at that moment as God, this is holy ground. When I'm going to bed, I want to just, even in those moments of sleeping, I want to have you in mind. I want you to speak to me. And that when you wake up, don't touch your phone. The first thing, you should honor God with the start of your day. Right. Go in worship, go in prayer, because what was planted in you was spiritual. And it would be awakened through you engaging your spirit. And so there are times that God would say, what I need to tell you is so critical that I'm just going to bother you with it. But the truth is, when we look at how God speaks, when we look at how Jesus engaged with people, there were moments that Jesus would say it like it is. And there were moments that Jesus would speak in parables. And so it's up to us, going back to that scripture, that it is the glory of kings to search out a matter. God, what does this mean? What is this? And in that consistency, in that submission, in that childlike space of not being too quick to conclude, this did not mean anything. In that space, all of a sudden, God knows this is fertile ground. This is a fertile place that I can speak to you. This is a vehicle I can use for you. And so just for many people who feel like, God, just speak to me, you can begin to see your dreams, to see when you go to bed as a holy ground. Go to bed in worship and with the expectation, have a journal, open it up and say, God, you love me. You want to speak to me. I'm going to bed right now and I just believe that you would just open up your words to me. And no matter what that dream is, no matter how random it is, sometimes a dream that seems random and crazy is just God's invitation of saying, I want to start a conversation with you. Would you continue?
Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload. Thanks for being a part of our Better Together community.